Hello, I'm your host, Whispering Owl, and I bring you tales from the shadows where the line between reality and the unexplained blurs. Tonight, we travel to a secluded farmhouse in the quiet hills of Hinsdale, New York. But don't be fooled by its peaceful appearance. This house holds secrets that defy logic, stories of darkness that drove an innocent family to the edge of madness. Imagine hearing whispers in the dead of night when no one's there, or seeing shadows move when the lights are off. What you're about to hear isn't just another ghost story, it's one of the most chilling hauntings ever recorded. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories that send shivers down your spine. So dim the lights, settle in, and let's uncover the terrifying truth of the Hinsdale House. Tucked away in the quiet hills of Hinsdale, New York, sits what looks like a peaceful little farmhouse. Weathered wood, tall trees, and the kind of charm you'd expect from a countryside retreat. But this house is no ordinary home. Beneath its simple facade lies a dark and twisted history. Built in the mid-1800s, the house stands on land rumored to be a Native American burial ground. Stories of violent deaths and unmarked graves have haunted the area for generations. Neighbors avoided it, saying the place just felt wrong. The house doesn't merely stand in silence, it looms. Visitors report an inexplicable weight as they step onto the property, a feeling that the air is thick with something unseen, something watching. It's as if the house itself is a warning, a sentinel guarding secrets too dark to uncover. It wasn't until 1970, when the Dandy family moved in, that the true horrors of the Hinsdale house came to light. Their search for peace and tranquility would lead them into a nightmare, one they couldn't escape, and that would go on to make the farmhouse infamous as one of the most haunted locations in America. It was the summer of 1970 when the Dandy family arrived at the Hinsdale house. For Clara and Phil Dandy, it seemed like the perfect escape. A quiet farmhouse surrounded by trees, a place where their 4 children could grow up away from the chaos of the world. But it didn't take long for the cracks to show. At first, it was subtle, just a feeling. Clara often felt like someone was watching her, even when she was alone. The house was old, so the strange noises at night, creaking floors, soft whispers, seemed easy to explain, at least at first. Then the unexplainable began. Shadows moved across empty rooms. Dark figures that vanished before anyone could fully process what they were seeing. And it wasn't just the house. Outside, their animals started dying under mysterious circumstances, their bodies left mangled with no clear cause. The worst of it happened at night. The children were terrified to sleep alone. One night, their youngest daughter, Beth, woke up screaming. She swore something had yanked her from her bed, dragging her halfway across the room. Clara, too, became a target. She'd wake up with deep scratches on her arms and legs, bruises appearing out of nowhere. Then there was the woman, always at the edge of the forest, dressed in white. She didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there staring at the house. And when anyone tried to approach, she disappeared into thin air. What was supposed to be a peaceful life for the Dandies quickly became a living nightmare. Something in that house didn't want them there, and it wasn't going to let them leave unscathed. At first, the Dandy family dismissed the strange happenings as nothing more than quirks of an old house. A creak here, a draft there, nothing unusual, but soon those little quirks became impossible to ignore. Clara was the first to notice. She often felt a heavy presence, as though someone was standing just behind her, watching. It was subtle at first, an unsettling sensation that made her glance over her shoulder, only to find the room empty. But the feeling wouldn't go away. Then came the noises. Footsteps echoed through the house at night, slow and deliberate, moving from one room to the next. When Clara or Phil went to check, no one was there. Whispers followed, faint and almost melodic, drifting through the halls as if carried by the wind. But the windows were shut, and the whispers seemed to come from within the walls themselves. The children started noticing it too. Toys that had been left in one corner of the room would mysteriously move to another. Doors opened and closed on their own, sometimes slamming so hard the whole house shook. The family began losing sleep, waking to the sound of strange tapping on the walls, a rhythm that seemed deliberate, like someone or something was trying to communicate. The strangest thing of all was the air in the house. It felt wrong, heavy, oppressive, almost like it was alive. Clara described it as a weight pressing down on her chest, making it hard to breathe. Even on the brightest days, the house felt cloaked in shadows. It was these small, unexplainable moments that marked the beginning. The first signs that the Dandy family wasn't alone in their new home, and whatever was there with them was growing bolder. What began as small, unsettling moments quickly turned into something far more sinister. The Dandy family's once charming home wasn't just unsettling anymore, it was becoming hostile. It started with the shadows. They no longer stayed at the edges of the rooms, but moved boldly across the walls, almost as if they had a purpose. Clara swore she saw one lingering in the corner of her bedroom, its shape impossibly tall and twisted, watching her while she slept. It vanished the moment she turned on the light. Then came the physical attacks. Clara began waking up with deep scratches across her arms and legs, scratches she couldn't explain. At first she thought it was her own doing, maybe from restless sleep. But the marks became more deliberate, more violent, and they didn't stop with her. One morning, Phil found bruises on his back, shaped like handprints, as if someone had gripped him hard in the middle of the night. The children weren't spared either. One night, their youngest daughter, Beth, let out a scream so piercing it jolted the entire family awake. When they rushed to her room, they found her huddled in the corner, trembling. Through tears, she told them something had yanked her from her bed, dragging her across the floor. There were no footprints, no sign of anyone else in the house, just the terror in Beth's eyes. And then there was the chanting. Low, guttural voices that seemed to echo through the walls, especially at night. It wasn't just a sound. It felt alive, as though the house itself was trying to speak. The family would wake to the eerie rhythm of chanting, unable to pinpoint where it was coming from, only that it was everywhere. Outside, things were just as horrifying. Their livestock began dying one by one, their bodies left mutilated without explanation. And that woman, the figure in white, kept appearing at the edge of the woods. She never moved, never spoke, just stood there watching. But when anyone tried to approach, she would vanish into thin air. The Dandy family had gone from uneasy to terrified. Whatever was haunting their home was no longer hiding in the shadows. It wanted them to know it was there, and it wanted them gone. By 1974, the Dandy family was desperate. The activity in the house had grown so intense that they feared for their safety. In their search for help, they turned to Father Alphonsus Trabold, a priest from nearby St. Bonaventure University, who had experience with paranormal cases. After hearing their story and witnessing some of the strange occurrences himself, Father Trabold agreed to perform an exorcism, a last-ditch effort to cleanse the house of its dark presence. The day of the exorcism was heavy with tension. Father Trabold arrived with a small group, including another priest and a paranormal researcher, ready to confront whatever was haunting the house. They began by blessing the property, sprinkling holy water on the walls and floors while reciting prayers meant to banish evil. For a moment, it seemed like the house held its breath, silent as though waiting, but then the house began to fight back. As the prayers grew louder, so did the disturbances. Objects started shaking. Heavy footsteps echoed from the upstairs rooms, and the guttural chanting that had plagued the family returned, louder than ever. One member of the group claimed to feel an overwhelming presence, something angry and violent, pressing down on them, making it hard to breathe. At one point, Father Trabold paused, visibly shaken. He later admitted that he had never encountered anything like the force in the Hinsdale House. Despite their best efforts, the exorcism failed. Instead of driving the darkness out, it seemed to provoke it further. The activity escalated in the days that followed, as if the house was lashing out in retaliation. For the Dandy family, it was the breaking point. They had tried everything, ignored the signs, endured the attacks, and even sought divine intervention. But nothing worked. Soon after, they packed up their belongings and fled, leaving behind the house and the horrors that lived within it. The exorcism was supposed to bring peace. Instead, it left a chilling question. What kind of evil can't be banished even by faith? After abandoning the Hinsdale House, the Dandy family hoped to find peace and reclaim their lives. They moved to a small town, miles away from the haunting memories of their former home. For a while, it seemed their nightmare had finally ended. The children began to sleep through the night, and the oppressive atmosphere that once surrounded them started to lift. However, the relief was short-lived. Clara, who had been the first to suggest leaving, noticed the signs first. It started with small things, a misplaced object, a whisper in the middle of the night. At first, she dismissed these occurrences as remnants of their trauma, but soon the activity became undeniable. Phil, ever the skeptic, began to experience the same disturbances he had once brushed off. He heard footsteps in the hallway when no one was there and felt a cold presence watching him. The woman in white, who had once been confined to the woods of the Hinsdale house, appeared in their new backyard, staring at them with hollow eyes. The children, too, were not spared. Beth, who had stopped sleeping altogether while in the Hinsdale house, began to wake up in the middle of the night, screaming. She claimed the unseen hands had followed her, tugging at her blankets and whispering her name. The other children reported seeing shadows darting across their rooms and feeling an unshakable sense of dread. It became clear that the Hinsdale house had left a mark on them, one that couldn't be erased by distance. The Dandy family was haunted not just by the house, but by the lingering shadow of the dark force that had once tormented them. They sought help from various sources, psychologists, paranormal experts, and even other priests, but nothing seemed to dispel the presence that clung to them. Their story serves as a chilling reminder that some hauntings never truly end. The Dandy family's experience with the Hinsdale house was not just confined to its walls, it followed them, a dark shadow that lingered, reminding them that some evils are not so easily escaped. As the years went by, the family learned to coexist with the hauntings, though the memories of their time in the Hinsdale house never faded. They became a part of their lives, a constant eerie reminder of the darkness they had once faced. The Dandy family's tale is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, but also a sobering reminder of the lasting impact of true evil. And so the story of the Hinsdale house continues to be told, a dark chapter in the lives of the Dandy family and a haunting legend that endures to this day. Even after the Dandy family fled the Hinsdale house, the story didn't end. In fact, the house's terrifying reputation only grew as more people came forward with their own experiences and as investigators tried to uncover the truth behind the haunting. What makes this case stand out is the extensive evidence, accounts, photographs, and even books documenting the horrors within its walls. The Dandy family wasn't alone in their claims. Neighbors had long whispered about strange occurrences on the property even before the family moved in. Visitors to the house during the Dandy's time there reported feeling an oppressive presence, hearing the same phantom footsteps and chanting, and witnessing objects moving on their own. Even the priests involved in the failed exorcism documented the inexplicable phenomena they encountered. Paranormal researchers who investigated the house have captured chilling evidence. Photographs taken during their visits show mysterious orbs of light, shadowy figures, and unexplainable distortions. Audio recordings from the house contain eerie EVP, electronic voice phenomena sessions where faint, disembodied voices can be heard responding to questions. Some recordings even captured the same rhythmic chanting the Dandy family described. The book brought the story to a wider audience and added credibility to their claims. Over the years, the Hinsdale house has been featured in documentaries, news reports, and paranormal TV shows, solidifying its place as one of the most infamous haunted houses in America. In more recent years, the house has been preserved as a site for paranormal research thanks to its current owner, Daniel Klaas. Teams of investigators have visited the Hinsdale house, capturing evidence that echoes the Dandy family's accounts: disembodied voices, strange lights, and sudden unexplainable temperature drops. Despite decades of research, no one has been able to explain the forces at work in the house. The evidence leaves one chilling question. Is the Hinsdale house haunted by restless spirits tied to its land, or is it something darker, something that defies all explanation? One thing is certain: anyone who steps inside feels its lingering grip, a reminder that some mysteries are better left unsolved. Decades after the Dandy family fled, the Hinsdale house remains a hotspot for paranormal investigators, thrill seekers, and, well, skeptics alike. Its chilling reputation has only grown, and those brave enough to step inside quickly discover that whatever haunted the Dandys hasn't left. In 2015, Daniel Klaas purchased the house with a mission to preserve it and open it up for paranormal research. Almost immediately, investigators began reporting the same activity the Dandy family had described: objects moving, disembodied voices, and the oppressive feeling of being watched. Teams equipped with modern technology have captured startling evidence. EVP sessions often reveal eerie voices answering direct questions, while thermal imaging cameras pick up unexplained heat signatures in empty rooms. Motion sensors are frequently triggered when no one is present, and investigators have reported sudden, unexplainable temperature drops that leave them shivering. One investigator described hearing faint chanting during an overnight investigation, eerily like what the Dandys reported in the 1970s. Another team claimed to have seen a shadow figure dart across the living room, only to find no one there. A few even believe they've encountered the infamous woman in white still lingering at the edge of the woods, watching silently before vanishing into thin air. Today, the Hinsdale house hosts regular tours and overnight investigations, drawing people from around the world. Some come out of curiosity, others in search of proof of the paranormal. Many leave with stories of their own, voices recorded on audio devices, orbs caught on camera, and the unmistakable sense that they weren't alone. For some, it's the ultimate paranormal experience. For others, it's a stark reminder that whatever haunts the Hinsdale House isn't just a ghost, it's something far darker and far more relentless. Despite all the evidence, the mystery remains. Is the Hinsdale House haunted by restless spirits tied to its violent past? Or is it something else entirely, something that defies explanation even by modern technology? One thing is certain, the Hinsdale House continues to terrify and intrigue, leaving visitors with more questions than answers. The Hinsdale House has left countless people baffled, frightened, and searching for answers. Over the years, many have tried to explain the relentless activity in this unassuming farmhouse, but no single theory can fully account for what happens within its walls. Here are the most compelling possibilities. Among all the materials available, 2 books stand out as key resources for uncovering the house's haunting past. These works provide first-hand insights and historical context, offering readers a deeper understanding of the strange phenomena surrounding this infamous property. One of the most significant accounts comes from the book Echoes of a Haunting by Clara Miller, a pseudonym for Clara Dandy. This book offers a raw, first-hand narrative of the terrifying experiences Clara and her family endured during their time in the Hinsdale House in the 1970s. From unexplained disturbances to moments of sheer terror, Clara's story captures the haunting's intensity and gives readers an intimate glimpse into the events that solidified the house's reputation as a paranormal hotspot. Another vital book is Hinsdale House, An American Haunting by Daniel Claes, the current owner of the property. Claes blends historical research with his personal experiences and the findings of ongoing paranormal investigations to create a comprehensive exploration of the house's mysteries. This book not only delves into the house's dark past, but also highlights the lingering spirits and unexplained phenomena that continue to attract investigators and thrill-seekers to this day. Over the years, numerous news outlets have brought its haunting tale to the forefront, exploring its dark history and the chilling experiences reported by investigators and visitors. These stories not only document the supernatural phenomena, but also provide a broader platform for the house's enduring legend. Some notable mentions include an article titled "Bizarre Episodes Began in the 1970s" from the Buffalo News delves into the chilling history of the Hinsdale House. The Dandy family, residents during the 1970s, encountered inexplicable phenomena such as mysterious burns, unsettling chants, and objects moving without explanation. These terrifying events led them to seek help from Father Alphonsus Trabold, a theology professor and paranormal expert who performed an exorcism. Despite his efforts, the hauntings persisted and the family eventually fled the house in 1975. Clara Dandy later chronicled their ordeal in her book, Echoes of a Haunting, bringing the house's dark history to light. The Misnick family, who moved into the house in 1986, also experienced ghostly activity, but reported feeling unthreatened by the spirits. The couple lived there peacefully until their deaths in 2010. The house was later put up for sale, marketed as a unique paranormal hotspot for adventurous buyers. This article combines first-hand experiences, expert insights from Father Trabold, and historical context, cementing the Hinsdale House's reputation as one of New York's most infamous haunted locations. One significant feature comes from the Buffalo News, 2011, which highlights the Hinsdale House's chilling history and its transformation into a paranormal hotspot. The article recounts the bizarre and terrifying experiences of the Dandy family in the 1970s, including mysterious burns, eerie chanting from the woods, and inexplicably displaced bricks. It also details the later residents, the Misnicks, who experienced ghostly sightings but lived without fear in the house until their deaths in 2010. Current efforts to preserve the house as a paranormal destination are also discussed, with stories of encounters that continue to fascinate believers and skeptics alike. The house has inspired filmmakers and television producers to explore its haunting past. These productions provide viewers with a gripping visual experience of the eerie happenings that make the Hinsdale House one of the most infamous haunted locations in America. One of the most notable portrayals comes from the Discovery Channel series A Haunting in the episode titled Dark Forest. This dramatized retelling dives into the terrifying experiences of the Dandy family, who lived in the house during the 1970s. The episode captures the family's desperate attempts to combat the dark forces that plagued their lives, offering a vivid and emotional perspective on the haunting. The house also took center stage in an episode of Paranormal Lockdown featuring investigators Nick Groff and Katrina Weidman. Spending 72 hours in the Hinsdale House, the team documented compelling evidence of paranormal activity, including unexplained sounds and strange visual phenomena. The episode provides a thrilling deep dive into the house's supernatural occurrences, leaving viewers questioning what truly lingers within its walls. In 2019, the Hinsdale House inspired a fictionalized film adaptation directed by Steve Stanulis. Simply titled Hinsdale House, the movie weaves together real-life accounts with creative storytelling to deliver a chilling tale of terror. While dramatized, the film draws heavily on the property's documented history, bringing its eerie essence to life for a new generation of paranormal enthusiasts. Despite decades of research and investigation, no one has been able to definitively explain the Hinsdale House. It remains a place of mystery and fear, where the line between the natural and supernatural is blurred. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in the overlap of these theories, or perhaps it's something we can't yet understand. What do you believe? Is the Hinsdale House haunted by spirits from its past, cursed land, or a demonic force? Or is it all just an elaborate myth built on fear and coincidence? The answer may never be clear, but one thing is certain: the Hinsdale House continues to defy explanation, leaving everyone who steps inside with more questions than answers. The Hinsdale House stands as one of the most infamous haunted locations in America, a place where the line between reality and the supernatural blurs. From the Dandy family's terrifying ordeal to modern-day investigations, the evidence continues to build, leaving us with more questions than answers. Is it a curse tied to the land, restless spirits refusing to move on? Or something darker, something beyond our understanding? Even after decades of research, books and media coverage, no one has been able to fully explain the phenomena within these walls. What we do know is that the Hinsdale House has left an indelible mark on everyone who's encountered it. For some, it's a cautionary tale about the power of the unknown. For others, it's proof that there's more to this world than meets the eye. But one question remains: would you dare to step inside? Now that you've heard the chilling tale of the Hinsdale House, what do you think? Is it a case of restless spirits, a cursed land, or something even darker? I'd love to hear your theories, so drop them in the comments below. Have you ever experienced anything paranormal yourself? Share your stories. I might feature them in a future video. And if you enjoyed this dive into the unexplained, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a story. Share this video with anyone who loves a good haunting, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, this is Whispering Owl, reminding you that some shadows are better left undisturbed. Stay curious and stay safe.